Alright, crash course on Datapath. So this big diagram here summarizes a very basic microprocessor, how it would work inside. So it has a whole bunch of memory. It has information stored in it somewhere. Each piece of information has an address that you can use to identify it. Using this information, you can take it to your function unit and perform some functional operation, take the output, and you can save it back into your data if you please, back into your memory. So the way we refer to this data, this is a very basic memory, basic hard drive. It only can store 8 variables. Each of these variables is called a register. This is why it's called a register file. And you have registers R0 through to R7. So if you want to reference a particular register, you would go through these different values. So R0 has the corresponding code of 000, and R5 has a corresponding code of 101. And these registers can hold some information in it. So if you want to get a data out, and you want that to be, say, R5, then over here in this A address section, you would give it the code corresponding to R5, which is 101. And then this would go to that address, find whatever information is stored in it, and output that information in this bus. Okay? So this is kind of like a pointer in C, right? So you're giving it the pointer to your variable, and this machine outputs the data stored at that pointer. Let's say I wanted to add R0 and R1. To do that, you would have to go to the A address, give it the address of R0, go for the B address, give it the address of R1. Then when you do that, this memory module will output the actual values in R0 and R1 here. And then you can do that, and you can perform the add function. How do we select the add function? If we look here, fs, for the function unit, if we scroll down, you can see that the function unit can do several different functions. Excuse me. Right? So this function, f equals a, does absolutely nothing. This function adds 1 to the input. This function adds both inputs. This function adds 1 to the sum of both inputs. This is one's complement addition, and then this is subtraction, right? This is a plus the one's complement of b plus 1, which is equivalent to a minus b. Then we can do a minus 1. This is another useless one. This one is a and b. This is a or b. This is a XOR b. This is the complement of a. This is another useless one. And then this is shift right, and this is shift left. So this one takes in the value of f and it shifts it one to the left. In order to select each of these functions, we have a corresponding code that we provide to our microprocessor. All right? If we want to select, for example, a plus b, then our code for selecting this function is 0010 over here. So we give this code to our function unit. Over here, we give 0010. This performs the function, and it gives us our output. Using this output, we would generally want to save it back, right? So let's say we want R0 to be the sum of R1 and R2. Therefore, A would be R1, B would be R2, and then R0 would be stored within the output over here. You would say the D address for your destination address. This would go through, would calculate the thing. Once you give it the function, would go out of the output, back in here, and write it to the destination, given the address that you've selected. So we've explained what DA is, destination address. AA and BA are the addresses of the two inputs that you want. FS is what function you want to select. And now we have 3 random ones here. We can look at RW first. RW basically says if you want to write the output back or not, right? So in our case, we did R0 equals R1 plus R2. If for some reason we wanted to do that calculation and then just discard the output, I don't know why you would, but if you wanted to discard the output, you don't want to write back to your memory, you would set this to 0. Whereas if this is 1, then it would go and write your result into the destination address you've given here. That's RW. MD, mux D is if you want let's say I want to assign a constant value to R0. If I want R0 to equal 57, then there's no kind of operations that you can do to get 57 out of nowhere, right? So in that case, you would set MD to be 1. So it just takes in a constant data in. So you don't have any functions here, you don't have any A or B or whatever. You just want to set register to your data in. In that case, you would make this 1, and then you would ignore everything else. You can set these to random don't care values and it doesn't matter, except the destination address. So you would select a destination address of, let's say, 101 for register number 5, and then you would select MD for 1 to get your data in. So this would be 101 here for 15, 14, 13. All of this can be 0. All of these are 0. And then this one is 1. This is also 1. So you're writing from the data in to your destination address. And the final one is MB. MB is if you want to do maths with a constant in. For example, if I wanted to do A plus 57. So then I would give an A, and I would give in a constant in of 57. And with mux B, I would select 1. So I would select 1 here. So that kind of summarizes everything we have. If I just draw this out here, excuse me, we have DA, AA, BA, MB, FS, MD, RW. Let's say I have the operation R1, I want to save in the value. We use a kind of reverse arrow instead of an equal sign because it doesn't actually equal anything. We're assigning, let's say we want R0 plus R3, right? So to do this, our destination address equals R1, right? And if we go to our lookup table, R1 is 001. Our A address is R0. So A address is R0 equals 000. And then B address equals R3 is 011. We then have our MB. We can see here, we're using a register, not a constant value. So MB equals 0, equals register, equals 0. Our function, fs, equals addition, right? So we find the addition function, which is a plus b, 0010. MD is function. We're not setting in any constant values. And then RW will almost always be 1. Yes, right. Equals 1. Therefore, our control word for this would be 001, 000, 011, 0, 0010, 01. We're basically just putting all these codes together in this specific order. If we go back, you can see here that it lines up 3, 3, 3, 1. This one has 4 digits. This one has 1 and 1 digit by itself. And just for a final bit of practice, if we had, let's say, R4 equals R0 minus 13, right? You will notice that a constant in can only go into B. A constant in cannot go into A. So this order is important. If we had, I guess, 13 minus R0, we would need to do some funky mathematics to swap around the negative signs and do some complements to get it back to where we want it to be. Okay? So let's just stick back with R0 minus 13. In that case, our destination address is R4, which is 0100. Our A address is R0, which is that. Our B address, if we look here, our B address doesn't matter, right? Because we're using a constant in. So our B address is literally just don't care. So you can have it anything you want. MB, however, is the most important. We want our constant in. So we would select 1, and then we would select subtraction which is given by the sum of the complement plus 1. That is this one here, 0101. MD is function, yes, right. So our final control word output is 100 000 xxx 1 0101 01. Cool. This is 16 bits for our control word. Right? We have 4, 8, 12, 16. This is our encoding based on the control word formula given here. And this particular microprocessor, this is how you perform the operation R4 equals R0 minus 13. Okay? And this is the, I'm pretty sure this is the only microprocessor that you'll be given. It's the only one that you'll be taught. The hardest part is learning how to read the table. Once you do that, like you saw, solving the actual questions are quite trivial. They may actually make you evaluate the answer, but beyond that, there's not much more to say. There you go. This is a kind of summary. Field, destination address, you can symbolize it using something, and then you use it in binary, and you just use it. The second example in table 8.6 is a shift operation given by R6 is shifted left, which goes into R4. Also, this is a good point to note. Note that because the shifter is driven by bus B, just like our constant in was driven by bus B, our shifter is driven by bus B only. You'll see here, you can only shift B. You have to make sure that whatever you're shifting goes into the B input, not the A input. And there we go. These are some examples of operations. We just did a couple. This is how it does it. I'll leave you to revise that in your own time. Hopefully this helped.